Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here, sharing your most precious asset with me, and that is your time. Welcome to the Crypto Live Show, baby. Check. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Could have been way worse. Thank gosh. Shout out to all my beautiful people here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. I believe I have my own. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we want to match that up. Hey. Switching up the pocket square at the last second. You got to do what you got to do. And what the heck is this? Oh, yeah, that's a piece of purple, I guess, that's coming through. Interesting. Shout out to all the beautiful people here on the live. Bitcoin getting a beautiful pump of $1,000 all the way up to $68,000. And again, it is the model crossing the 200 moving average on the 1 minute, and then you're gone. Baby, gone. Tried to even catch it on the 3 minute. Really couldn't. Tight little move there. And just a blast to the upside for Bitcoin. Like to see this kind of get back above the 200 moving average on the 1 hour time frame. Little bit of a flag there, and that did pump. I did not catch it. I did not go after it. I was sketched out by this morning's up and down price action, and it was a Monday. I don't trade Mondays. Usually I've been really sticking to my rules. I used to do it anyway. Now I don't. Now I'm looking at the price action. I'm like, damn, what a beautiful pump. It was a flag. I do have a possible extended move up there. You can see we were inside of a symmetrical triangle. They usually have been dumping to the downside, and maybe this is just a fake out breakout. We don't know for sure. But hey, at least it's some green for Bitcoin, right? We'll take any green they give us here as we begin the day. Shout out to all the beautiful people here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here, sharing your most precious asset with me, and that's your time. Let's go, crypto lifers. Today is a day, baby. Today could be one of the biggest trades of your life. You never know. This is a beautiful move to the upside. Look at this for Bitcoin. You know, if I was in this, I'd be watching to take some profito. All right. And if you look at gold, gold took a bit of a hit to the downside. I got out of my gold trade right about here. I really did. I sold it. I made some great gains, beautiful gains. Shout out to anyone that took the trades on gold with me on BTC.D. They were beautiful. It was awesome. I still think there's more, and we could probably get back into gold. I just feel out of nowhere things just switched, right? And I could see, I don't know, you know, I didn't jump into Bitcoin, but I did take my gold trade off the table, so I did something. But look at this. I mean, when's the last time the 5-minute candle went like this? I mean, that's insane. That's beautiful. Beautiful pump action. And again, you can use the 30-second. Once you cross the 30-second, you made a flag here. You did touch the 21, you know, and again, that was a beautiful entry right there for Bitcoin based on my strategy. 21, 200, boom. And then it made another one here, which it looked like it either broke out, you know, like it looked like it broke out, retested, and then it was gone. Guan, baby, Guan, as we say in the group. Bitcoin with a beautiful pump. Why does it always pump when I show up? Last night it pumped. Today it pumps. It's like, whoa, baby, whoa, let's go. And the shorts are getting squeezed yet again. Even though we had liquidity to the downside here for Bookmap, it may be just a poke out, you know, where they drag everybody up just to bring them down. We'll see what happens here. Shout out to all the beautiful people here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. We love you. Shout out to John. Shout out to Vegas Claw, Stack McChange. Shout out to Maniacs, Z-Dubs, man. My man Stack holding me down. FUD Expert, Chris Ghost, always holding me down, man. Thank you. He says, Lord, be with us, our trades today. Give us mental clarity and show us how to use our money to serve you. Amen. I love you for that, man. That's a perfectly brief, short way to put it. And it's such a great way to start the blessing, like, you know. Look at this. I mean, this is a monster short squeeze to the upside for Bitcoin. 68,004. The numbers are going crazy. They are liquidating the shorts here. Look at this. Just a monster bubble to the upside. Some liquidity all the way. It looks like they could take it to 70K if they, you know. Nice move here for BTC. Look at that. I mean, back above the 200 moving average on the 1 hour. Touch of the 21. Didn't really give you room, but in the smaller time frames possible. I can see it happening, but I still, you know, I'm still weary of all this price action. Every time we get a pump, it turns into a dump. Could this be the actual one? What's crazy is this bottom call that I made is still the bottom call. We could still bounce off 60K. Let's take a look at how this looks on the bigger time frame. Let's open up. Let's open up some type of scalping mechanism here. Let me take a look here. I mean, I don't like to trade Mondays, but there's volatility now. We are just, to me now, a little too far from the 21-day moving average. That you know, and so the beautiful thing about this is it sets it up for what I love. So here's the deal. Keep pumping. Go, 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 go. If it continues to pump to 70K, it's a regular, right? Like, that's insane. You know, you get pumps like these, you come back to the 21. You get a crazy pump, you come back to the 21. Crazy pump, back to the 21, back to the 21. Every time you pump, you're going to come back to the 21. Have no fear. You're going to head back to the 21-day moving average. It's just going to happen. You don't even have to think about it. So, you have two choices. Believe this is going to continue to pump. And instead of just, you could just, you have a few choices. You have three. You could just ape in right now because out of emotion and chase green candles, which is not the smartest thing to do, which is a lot of people are going to do that. You know that, right? They're just going to buy right now because they thought, I thought I was going to get 60K. See, when you don't do the right thing for Bitcoin, you get punished for doing the wrong thing. What do I mean? Well, Bitcoin was at 5 and we were at 60,000, 61, 62, and that was the time to buy Bitcoin. Now, if you don't, it starts headed towards 70K. You get this like fear and this worried feeling and this sick feeling, and then you'll ape in. Then Bitcoin will go back to 53,000, and you won't buy the. You know what I mean? You'll be. You know what I mean? Because what happened when you? This is what I've learned, and this is from just my own experience with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's a very interesting animal to trade. You know, you get hit with everything you don't do for Bitcoin. And that's what I've learned. I was like, I just got to do the right thing every time. If I don't do the right thing every time, I get caught up too. Like if I didn't buy enough Bitcoin spot, I'd be maybe trying to do some crazy leverage trade right now or do something, you know what I mean? Or trying to show everyone, look at me. But like I'm calm. I have my system. I have my plan. I've been doing it for a long time. And so here, the thing is, so you could ape in, just back to the idea, you could ape in right now. You could wait for it to flag out here on the 3 minute. Or the 5 or the 1, you could attempt to get something cooking on the small time frames if you believe it's going to continue. Or you could just wait it out till the 1 hour comes back to the 21, which may take 7 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, 15. Doesn't really matter how long it takes. It matters how long you can hang. If you can plan it out and get it done, then you're there. You see what I'm saying? And shout out to everybody as we approach spring on the East Coast, right? March 21st, which will be around that time, 21st, 22nd will be the spring equinox. Also, there's like a full moon. I mean, if you can't see it, it's got to be in a couple days. I was outside last night basking in the moon. It was so bright. So yeah, March 3rd is a full moon. That's tomorrow. Okay. And I believe that is the commonly known as the blood moon. It will be visible with a total lunar eclipse occurring during the event. The moon will turn reddish copper as it passes through the Earth's shadow, lasting 58 minutes. The eclipse will be visible in Eastern Asia, Pacific, and Western North America. Interesting. This is the last total lunar eclipse for several years, with the next one not occurring till December 31st of 2028 till 2029. Wow. Several years. That's not several years. That's 3 years. You know what I mean? It's like they always try to, it's like several to me is 7 years or more, right? I mean, I don't even know where several years came from. What is that? You know what I mean? The worm moon, though, we call it the worm moon. Why? Because it's when the ground finally starts to thaw out and the worms start to wiggle their way. You see what I mean? And so it's called a worm moon for that reason. And that's, you know what I mean? A planter's moon, whatever you want to. And it's when people that really know their stuff about farming start to kind of key in and hone into when they should be getting things ready for their next big season of planting, right? So the worm moon. It's special. The moon phases tell you things about kind of our cycle and our way of life. The wolf moon, Yeah. The flower moon, right? You get the buck moon in July, the sturgeon moon, the corn moon, the hunter's moon in October, the beaver moon, the cold moon. There's different names too. The wolf moon in January, the snow moon in February, the worm moon, the pink moon in April, the flower moon in May, the strawberry moon in January, in June, yeah. So look, this looks like it's going to continue to just pulverize the shorts for being late. Look at this. I mean, this is just battering. And what it is, it's they dump the market, pump the market throughout the weekend. And now everyone's kind of looking like, I don't know why Bitcoin wouldn't pump, if you think about it. You're in a country, you can't get out. You're not sure what to do. You want to change where you're living. You want to do something different. Dubai. You buy a bunch of Bitcoin, right? And you relocate with your BTC. And so, like, in my mind, just any type of general social geopolitical unrest, to me, should emphasize the reason why Bitcoin is amazing, because you can just pick up and go with your Bitcoin. And, you know, you can stick it, you know, a sticky on your lap, whatever you got to do, right? You can pack it with your laptop, go through the airport, no problem. I wonder when the day where they're going to start asking if you have a crypto wallet on you. That's going to be the day. Any crypto wallets on you right now? That's going to be scary. And we're probably like 5 to 7 years from something of that nature. Let's go, baby. Let's go. So am I trading right now? You never know. I may, but I've been telling myself not to trade Mondays. But damn, look, I missed out on a nice pump. But that's okay. It's cooler to live by your own rules. But man, a nice $66,000 to $68,000 pump for Bitcoin. You know me, I could get a nice $2,000 out of that pump. To the upside, boys. To the upside for bitty Bitcoin. But so, nice move. So, yeah, so back to the things you could do. You could either chase, wait for this, or wait for the 1 hour to really resettle back to the 21. You have to remember the 1 hour is very far away from the 21-day moving average. Beautiful pump. Kind of an inverted head and shoulder. Kind of a cup and handle with a slight higher low there. The 15-minute gave you a tweezer bottom. Yeah, if you see, and you're just buying tweezer bottoms. The second a green candle closes next to a red one, you get in with the stop loss below the wicks, and then you just like, hey, it's crazy. As simple as that's been my, like, it's been turning into a go-to of mine, and I didn't even do it till like a couple years, like maybe not even like, I started doing it when I went to Singapore. So we're talking like less than a year ago. Yeah, so let's take a look. And I like this guy. He's talking about the 3 hour. I like the 3 hour. Yeah, you know, if we can get above the 21, to me, it's all about we've been doing this many times. Like we've had these successive moves. We catch the 21, we get it, but it never is sustainable. Right now, we need to get above the 3 hour. And we need to crush the, you know, and here it is, man. I kept saying, when are we going to pump to the 4 hour 200 moving average? You know? Again, we still have some massive supportive resistance. We're going to break all this down right now. But, hey, we had a symmetrical triangle. We broke out of it to the upside. You know, they got to tell you, we got a nice breakout. Finally, we broke out. These break down 90% of the time, so you're looking for a breakdown. I didn't trade it. I didn't think it was, you know, I'm usually a perma bull, though. You know, just going at it bullishly. That looks like it's going to continue to close the gap to the 200 before it calms down. Looks like you're likely going to close this, get another huge pump, and then get rejected there. That's what usually happens when you're this close to the 200 on the 4 hour. Beautiful move for the 1 hour. You broke above this trend line. I love it. I like what I'm seeing here. Could almost say it's a shoulder, head, right shoulder there. Bit of a double bottom, too, played out. I mean, it was a double bottom. They didn't raid the double bottom, as you can see. They pumped that thing. They might raid it again later on, but the thing is to take advantage of what you see now. Okay, so moving forward, let's take a look at the monthly chart and break it down. Shout out to anyone just jumping on in. Thank you for being here. My name's Sam Price, the Crypto Lifer. And what you learn here today, you can use on any single asset in the world, whether it's gold, silver, Bitcoin, you name it, you can make it happen. And look, I made $3,000 trading gold this morning. I don't have to be greedy. That's a good take. I can go from there, right? Yeah. As if I do nothing today and I can go to sleep tonight, say, hey, I made $3,000. I managed the trades well. I took profits. I didn't hope for it. I made it happen, right? First time the monthly candle is turning green with a wick from the downside. A deep enough wick as far as I'm concerned. You need just some slightly weight. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. And what it does is it makes me want to front run. Like this could be the low of a lifetime. And you could literally you could use this wick or you could use either wick. It depends on your fancy. Preferably use the red wick, right? Because it just gives you a little extra protection, but you might be deep there. But to me, this is a possible trade. The reason being is I've been front running green candles next to red. You won't lose a lot. You know what I mean? You could go 2 for 10,000. 1,000 for 5,000. For me, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say and do should be taken as financial advice. Anyone does whatever they want. The point of the story is this is just kind of, to me, collective reasoning. What that means is collective is you go through a bunch of different trades in your life. You reason over them. And you can see like some of them make more sense than others. And like this is a low risk to reward ratio. And you'd also be a legend. Like if you hit the trade, you could say for the rest of your life, you called the absolute bottom, you'd be the legend, you know. So you'd be like, the lifer showed me how to be a legend. But I mean, you're the one who pressed the button. Like even if you watch me today, you pressed the button on that legendary trade, right? So that's a possibility there for BTC. It's definitely something on the radar. I don't know about right now because of what we're seeing, but wow, this is a nice, this war is giving great volatility to Bitcoin traders. That was a monster move this morning to the upside. Interesting to see Bitcoin go up on uncertainty, bad news. Yeah, see, I don't see uncertainty and bad news, man. Yeah, you know, a lot of people are really happy in Iran. 80% of the population seems to be extremely happy that you know, things are changing. And they were, you know, taking out protesters in the streets, so yeah. Anyway, so there you go. Oversold on the stochastics. This could be the beginning. So there's two scenarios here. You know, the monthly just makes a bear flag and we head lower. It's not that big a deal, right? We end up somewhere back down at 40,000. I do draw fibs, and I say worst case scenario is 38,000. Like we still could go lower somewhere down here to the 786, 39,229, maybe 38,674 on a wick or something like that. You know what I mean? It just looks likely. At the same time, this is what I'm sticking to. In my lifetime, I bought, you know, I started buying Bitcoin back in here. I bought this dip. I bought this dip right here. I bought Litecoin right there, which I shouldn't have with like a bunch of money, and then I had to wait. But I bought $7,000 of Litecoin right here. Like when Bitcoin hit 13,000, I thought it was the end of the bear market. We were going back to 20K. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, that's it. We're going to rip. Minutes later, price started dumping again, and like next thing you know, that was the high of the day, and we never came. It was so crazy, man. I got excited for that one moment, made a crazy trade on emotion back in 2019, 7 years ago, and I had to sit there and wait. I'll always remember it, man. Anyway, I ended up getting out with money, but it took me about 2 years, you know, a year and a half. But that, you know, it's a great story because it shows that as long as you don't sell, you don't lose. That's one of my many trading stories of buying $7,000 of Litecoin. They turned to $700 down here. But anyway, I would buy Bitcoin on the dip. I'd buy Bitcoin here, there. You saw me buy Bitcoin. If you've watched this channel, how many people have watched me buy Bitcoin on the dip? Raise your hand. Put a 333 if you've watched me buy Bitcoin on the dip on this channel. And if you see me buy pretty much dang near the bottoms, right? I dabble, like I always nibble, but I'm not buying, you know, my bigger purchases are pretty much, when I buy a lot of Bitcoin, it's usually the bottom, man. It's like almost like a great indication to find out what's happening. Like, watch what I do. Like, don't even listen to me. Just watch my channel for when I buy Bitcoin. And back when I buy Bitcoin, be like, huh, that's interesting, you know? So anyway, every single time I bought Bitcoin, the fear and greed was below like a 10. It was at a 9, an 8. I don't think I ever saw it as a 7 or a 6 in my life. And, you know, 9s and 10s were the lowest I've ever seen. And then we saw a 5 recently, like a week and a half ago. We saw a 5 twice now, maybe. But I know we've seen a 5, and we've seen 6. And so every single time we've seen this at 5, I've bought in Bitcoin, it's been a bottom. That's lasted at least 4 to 5 months. Not a guaranteed bottom, but a bottom that's lasted 4 to 5 months. Right? And when you look at Bitcoin here on the 1 minute, it looks like it's about to just absolutely pump. Looks like you could get in right here, put a stop below 68,182, and this thing's going to rip. Rip to the upside. Pop below. Pop. Man, look at that thing. Booming. Bitcoin. Another possible little squeeze right here. I mean, that's 1 minute trading. Be careful you don't know what you're doing, please. And I don't believe I'm going to trade it. But that looks amazing with the pump here for Bitcoin on the morning. And everyone's like, Sam, how are you so calm? You know why I'm calm? Because my parents used to tell me, I remember back when they were in school, there used to be an alarm during their school, and they have to get underneath the desks in case of a bomb, right? And so this is how they had people living, to keep them, really how they started. To get people kind of get your mind, right? Anyway, the whole point is people have been worried and had the fear of war for years. It's happened to, us, the populace, the civilians. And so the more I look at it, the more I realize this is just an ebb and flow of life. And I'm just one of the many times that this is coming and going. And if I let it get to me, I'm going to ruin the only, the short time I have on this earth. And so I'm concerned. I feel bad. I pray for innocent people. I don't want to see anyone get hurt. But like Dubai, I didn't bat an eyelash. Like I would go to Dubai tomorrow. Like, you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't even stress that stuff. And there's always more. Things always look crazier on the TV than they are in real life. I'll tell you that too. I'm not saying any of this. I'm not downplaying anything that really happened. Like there's some serious stuff going on in the world right now. I'm not trying to say it's not happening. All right. I just want to let you know, like, it's usually brought up to a higher level of, of euphoria or whatever, you know what I mean? The other way, getting people kind of crazed. So the point is to stay level-headed, stay calm, and just do what you've been doing. I wake up every morning, I go over my Bitcoin updates, I run the trading group, I do I do my stream, and I just, you know what I mean? I just stay in the pocket. I would not trade this right now. It's Monday. We've already had a massive pump. The 1 hour's away for the 21. We're going to finish our top down now. But anyway, so could be an epic buy right here, though, for Bitcoin. Seriously, once we kind of find out where we are with the 1 hour time frame, it could also just make a bear flag and could continue to dump. But you can see the levels that matter, right? If you lose 59, 60K, you could come back down right here and test 47, 48,000, 47.5. And if you lose that, then, you can see there's a big level here. At about 35, 30, right there about 38,000 is where you could bounce. So I'm not saying we're going there, but I can just see where we could be going, right? So that's all. You just want to be kind of wary of all this stuff. And to be bullish, we really want to get back above 82K. We get back above 82K, you see this, when we tweezer bottom here on the monthly, that could be a retest for a move back to the upside. And you know what I mean? And what it could be looking at too is like just, you could almost say it's a monster bull flag. It's kind of crazy, but you know what I mean? Like a bull flag retest. That'd be amazing. We get to, by January of 2028, the whole year, 26 to 27, we just kind of pump for the next 2 years. You have to understand that could happen. I'm poised. I bought enough Bitcoin, so if that happens, I'm going to be sitting pretty. If it doesn't, I'm still have enough capital to buy more Bitcoin. And then when it happens again, I'll be sitting pretty. So I'm okay. I have a 5 to 10 year plan for Bitcoin. I've allocated what I want to put in. I didn't put every single thing that I own in it. And I'm kind of like, I'm poised and ready. So I got a plan. You see what I'm saying? That won't stress me out no matter what Bitcoin does. Bitcoin goes to 30K, I'm not going to be stressed out. It's not going to be, oh my gosh, I'm so happy for this. But I'm going to keep hustling, keep doing my thing, keep grinding. All right. We've been in the same boring range for a month now. Yeah. Shout out to TM Hustling. Sammo is the real deal, Holyfield. God bless you, man. Thank you so much. Okay, the 4-year financial show, 38K in October. The 4-year cycle fractal show. It does, you know what I mean? Possible. But, Bitcoin's ripping right now, man. It looks like it's about to crack through. Look at this. The flag turned real. Touched the 21, and I don't know what it is about that 21-day moving average. But the bots just react to it like a fire starter, man. And that stochastic's curving up, and you put those 2 and 2 together and just boom, 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 man. It's insane how this stuff starts to flow together. Bear flag fits into the narrative of the 4-year. I'm liking that idea. Yeah. A2 would still have me base case bearish, but above the bull market support band, above 90K first, then above and also the Ichimoku cloud. Let's not forget. We could talk about that in a second. We'll bring up the Ichimoku cloud in a second. I traded it for years. I use it on and off. I just forget about things because I've had so many little tools in the shed. I don't bring out every tool every day, This looks like it was a buy, though. Dang. They're sending this thing today. 69K. It looks like we're going back to 70,000. 70K would make a lot of people happy, and it would crush the bears too. You know, we were just sitting at 60,000. That's why, man, whenever I see the fear high and it's a massive red day, my brain says, you got to buy the red, Sam. Even this is a good buy, 68.9 as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. I bet one more chart flag is 75,000 red, right at 70K. Yeah, and there's still that big, there's still a CME gap at like 90K, if I remember correctly, that we never filled. Wow, look at this Bitcoin ripping. I just want to take a look at the DXY and see if the DXY is collapsing down. No, the DXY is pumping with Bitcoin. So they're going together, which is awesome. You know what I mean? I saw that last. Remember yesterday, I said, man, it looks like the DXY is about to rip. But there you go, man. Bitcoin and the DXY. So people are jumping into the dollar and jumping into the Bitcoin. It's so crazy, right? But you know, it's war, right? War is actually pumping the dollar, U.S. contracts. And then people want to get into Bitcoin because it's a stress asset. Look at this, 69,169. They are ripping this thing. And again, it's touching the 21 above the 200 in a flag. There's an entry. There's an entry. This is what I teach over and over and over again. Bitcoin's starting to bleed the alts. We get 70K. How far can we go? And that's another thing I was saying too, is watch your altcoins, because, you know, everyone's like, oh, but Bitcoin dominance. I'd be careful, man. Yeah. Wow, 69,200 for BTC. Now the pump, it kind of stinks because I was hoping the pump would reside by now and calm down. Getting really far from the 21-day moving average here, like viciously far. When you get this far, usually it's a pump and dump, you know, because you got to come back. And you're gapping up just way too fast now. Interesting. It would tell me to start thinking about taking profits if I was in a bigger trade already. Just kind of the thing to do. But hey, people will do whatever they want. That's what I've learned. It doesn't matter. Beautiful short squeeze for Bitcoin continuing. This thing will not stop. 69,288. And again, using the 21 inside of a flag has been my go-to way to enter trades. Once they're too out of control, like you don't chase the 15, you don't chase the 10, you don't chase the 1 hour. You got to get into the 1 minute, the 3 minute. You got to learn small. If you want to be a day trader, you got to be able to learn You got to be able to learn how to trade small time frames, because they're going to give you the entries. They're going to help you position with the risk that you're looking for. Look, 70K just came into the picture heavy red there. So it's almost like obvious now we're going to rip to 70,000. All right. At that point, it's going to be kind of a news state. It's going to be on the news. You know, Bitcoin rips to 70K. You know, and again, 10,000 on 60K is a big move. It's like 18%. And I'm just, you know, again, I put out one of my last posts on X recently was, you know, get into the whole Bitcoin club, make it a point. You know, 70K is going to come around. You're going to see 60K. You're going to be wishing you took advantage. 69.4. This is an absolute demolishment of the shorts today. Getting absolutely kicked in the mouth. Wow. Shorts, baby. And the distance from the 21 has got me just like, oh no. So, hey, the monthly closes green. This would be amazing. As I said, this could be an amazing entry on the monthly with a stop below the wick. You know, whether it's 68.5, 68.9, 71, you know what I mean? This area here could be, you know, could be boss. So let's go back to the 2-week. 2-week chart actually getting a green next to a red, and that's a bullish engulfing candle. That closes in 13 days, though, so we have 2 weeks to find out whether this will close bullish engulfing. And then the weekly, we actually have a bullish engulfing, but we've seen this picture before. We were green last week, if you remember. Even just a few days before this candle closed, I think it was Thursday, Friday, we were green. And we ended up giving it all back, so just be careful. I would be selling into this pump right now for Bitcoin, personally. if I was in a scalp trade. Weekly closes like this is amazing. That's awesome. 5-day chart now has its second green candle. It's got to get back above the 200 moving average. 3-day chart, remember they did this before and they just faked us out of a bear flag. So I'm just, right there. It was like, oh yeah, we're breaking out. It looked great. No. But that's why I buy spot. And as much as I can in the bearish times, you know what I mean? So this could still dump. But it could also be a bit of like an Adam and Eve break back to the upside here. Hey, the daily's back above this trend line. And I tell you, as long as you can stay above this trend line, we could win. We could win. That's the break of the 4-year cycle. Teaches a major pump, an all-time high in Q2. I think anything could happen. Yeah, I just take it one day at a time. Because whether there is the 4-year cycle or not, does it matter? Because if tomorrow we break above, this resistance here on the daily, 70,000 and retest, and we start going for this high volume node, like you just got to trade what's in front of you. You can sit there and hypothesize. You can go on podcasts and talk, and you can have some fun about the future. Why not? Create content about what could be. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, does it? Because can you trade it or not? You know what I'm saying? I could tell you exactly what's going to happen perfectly and talk it out, but can I trade it? Funny, this did look like it was slightly kind of a bull flag to me that wanted a break. We were looking for it here. We were looking for it right there. Before the war, right there, I was looking for this bounce. But then the war happened, then they got the rip, then we got it's kind of cool how they, volatility is interesting. Wow, the 1 hour is just so far for the 21. That's, to me, is a worrisome move. You want to move up, sideways. That is a huge pump. I don't see how that doesn't crash down pretty fast. And you're looking for and what I do is in times like this, and this is just where my strategy there's weak points to everyone's strategy. So right now, my strategy could say, hey, the 1 minute could pump on you. And you don't know. Usually what I do is I sell around here and then I start trading these with lower risk. And I either add and I get more on the pump. You see what I mean? And that's how I found the best way to take advantage of this. If I'm not on a trade yet, though, I feel kind of weird to jump in late. But this looks like it may continue to 70,650. They built some liquidity up to 70,005 right here on Bookmap. What is this? Bookmap is a heat map order book showing you where price action's likely going to go. And look, we never stopped. We've been showing you this stuff every single day, constantly. Every single day here for Bitcoin. Shout out to the 1,402 people here on the stream. Thank you for jumping on in. Can we get the likes up to the watchers? I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for the love. And I don't want to say shoulda, woulda, coulda, because should means fear, like you missed out, fear of missing out. But it would have been beautiful to be in this pump, man. 4-hour flag, measured move, taps 200. Yeah, exactly. It usually goes right to the 200. 4-hour taps to 200, and then boom. We'll get a reckoning. This looks like it doesn't want to stop, though. I have to be honest. And why? Well, to me, I believe there's people in Iran that are buying Bitcoin up like you wouldn't believe. They're getting rid of their currency and buying Bitcoin as soon as they can. I mean, why not? Probably hit an all-time high in their currency, right? And the surrounding areas, too. There's people that are moving from Dubai just because. I'm not saying they should. Dubai is fine and safe. But there's people, people might have just tried it out for a week and it's not the spot. They had a portfolio. They transferred to BTC. So you have to remember when people are moving around, and I think this is going to be a trend throughout the world. Once people realize how simple and easy it is to move with Bitcoin. It's like, well, I can pack up my stuff or I can sell all my stuff, turn it into Bitcoin. Travel, I could put some of it in a stable coin if I want it back immediately. If I want to sell my furniture and I really want to buy more furniture when I get to my next location. You know what I'm saying? It's just yeah. And Dubai is not getting hit hard. I don't know why people are saying that. Yeah. Hey, you can't take your gold bars easily on a plane 100%, and you can't liquidate your gold. People talk about how great gold is. Yeah, on a contract, I just traded gold in and out, right? But if I had that amount of gold in a bullish contract, and I had to have it physically, or say I had a bunch of gold and I had to get it for the vault, and then I wanted to sell it, you know how bad they take you for when you sell your gold? It's such a an exchange market, more than any other market in the world. They can mark it up on you when you buy it. So when gold is like 2,000 an ounce, they charge it, basically 2,150. You basically have to pay premium for it. And that's just always how it's been. You can get the right mood at the right time or get some some coins at auction, and you could really go and look around, and you could maybe take advantage too. Like when someone needs money, you could say, hey, I'll buy that gold off you at a lower spot price, but you need the money. Whatever. My whole point is, then when you sell gold, they give you lower than spot price for it. It's weird. You know what I mean? The exchanges do, like the place that you bought it from. So it's really, they're in control, man. They take the premium on both sides. Look, that looks like it's going to skyrocket. I mean, it's a beautiful flag to the upside. Target 70,686. It just closed outside of the flag. I'm staying very disciplined. For me not to get in right now is hard. I'm staying very disciplined. I don't know where I'm getting the discipline today. Yeah. Exactly. Try and sell 10 million in physical gold. They will give you 7 mil. Exactly what he just said. See? You won't get your 10 mil. So is gold really that good? You know what I mean? And people pointed this out. So everyone talks about the gains. So you get less gains over time. And you have to pay such a premium that you can barely get out of it. Is it really that great? It's good if you're a massive institution that can, probably has a back-end door with the bank and you can transfer the gold and mess around. But look at this. They're now building liquidity up to 70,560, 70,500. And just like that, you're back above 69,000. Bitcoin can get you going in 2 seconds, folks. You'll blink and it's gone. Learn my strategy using the VRVP, pointing out with a flag, touching the 21-day moving average, and there you have it. Did this affect the NASDAQ? Yeah, we got a massive move back on the NASDAQ. And I kept telling you, I see the NASDAQ just wicking back inside the pattern at one point. As crazy as people think I am, they're just printing too much money. They're going to inject too much security into the markets. How about gold? Is gold going to continue to hold up? What's up with gold? Wow, so gold wicked to the target, right? Basically to my first target at resistance, and everybody sold resistance. It made sense. Good place to sell. Kind of made some bear div now. Let's get into gold in the bigger time frames and whittle our way down. I like the 2 week for gold right now. So we've had a nice pump for gold in the last, you know what I mean? Some good fear mongering. I mean, that always creates a nice gold rally, doesn't it? We took advantage of it. We've been talking about gold since here. I've been showing you the cup and handle on gold that's been going on since 2012. Anyway, we went over all this stuff. If you watch my channel, because I was a gold bug for years, I traded gold every day. Before I traded Bitcoin, I traded gold every day, if you didn't know. Yeah. I traded it on the New York Stock Exchange. I traded what it's called a Direxion Daily ETF. At the time, it was a 3X. Now it's 2X. What they had J-Dust and J-Nug. They had another one, too. That was a bullish one, if I remember. But J-Dust and J-Nug. J-Dust went down when Bitcoin went up. It went up when Bitcoin went down. You could trade them both bullishly without shorting the market. So if I saw a flag like this on gold, I could trade it on J-Nug. If it had a bear flag, I could flip it upside down. And that's how I learned how to short and long the market, by trading gold. But that's how I learned my strategy of how I flip the charts upside down. So I never had a short. I never had a short account. I never had to short the market. I just bought they gave you an inverse ETF. You see what I'm saying? And there's a lot of that stuff out there. You can inverse ETF stuff, right? You don't have to short. You long an inverse ETF. So I'm looking for gold to possibly calm down here a little bit. It's got some really high oversold bias there on the 2 week chart. The weekly too still has some room to legs to go, but I mean, that's a harsh move up. That's starting to show bearish div on the weekly for gold. I'm not saying it's going to dump, and maybe it does, but I'd like to see it kind of start to get sideways here, and then it looks like it could go sideways for a while. And then it still starts to, our next big rally. But this could be your kind of a take-home point for gold here. And I sold some of my gold share, I sold my gold position that I had on BTC.D. I still own gold, That's some bear div there too. Even though we are oversold in the 3-day chart. You never know, war could just continue to rev up and then, this will become... But when you look at the signs on the bigger time frames, they do start looking like a slower paced rally for gold. Big picture, you could draw this trend line. Could almost say that it changed about here. Just see if we can get tight. But it looks like the top of a channel there. But yeah, gold maybe gets tight. It continues. I mean, if they continue to print money, to me, I don't see how gold makes a bigger pullback. But it looks exhausted on the 2-week chart. I got to be honest with you. I see sideways price action for gold for a while now, but I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure we took what we could out of gold. And we made the move. 69,269. Bitcoin finally struggling on the 1 minute. Eventually, you want to see the 1 minute struggle. You see? Then you go to like the 3 minute, you take a look at it, and you're like, yeah, you want to see that, and again, at one point, you're going to see the 1 hour close a tweezer top. Next, and that's when you could probably short back to the 21-day moving average. And we've been shorting back to the 21 on the 1 hour, it could be a really good move. There they spiked it up and got you there, but then they continued to short, right? That one was perfect. That one was perfect. I'm expecting this to cool off. You're just too far from the 21-day moving average. And I know you hear me say this all the time. Yeah, the first thing you're going to get is one here. That's very far from the 21. I mean, what you could do is you could say, okay, in extreme bullish situations, you're going to make some type of ascending triangle, some type of bull flag. And the 21's going to come somehow catch price. You can even wick down far, wick back up, make a flag and break out. I've seen it all. But it's all, it just, no matter what happens, we got to touch that 21. 15-minute made a move, and now you pull the fit. And you start saying, okay, 618, does that coincide with the previous support as resistance? And it does. So now, you don't chase. You got to have a plan, because if you don't have a plan, you're going to be chasing. I'm telling you right now, if you don't have a plan, you're going to be chasing. Tell yourself that every time, because if you don't, you're going to be chasing. And you can't be chasing. If you want to jump on into my trading group and get this information, I already put an update this morning talking about what I saw for Bitcoin. Just seeing what was happening, seeing what we had to watch out for. Saying if I was going to trade or not. Just breaking it down. Go to cryptolifer.com. Hit the subscribe button. And I'll put that link right here too to make it simple and easy. Right. Also, the Bitcoin conference. I can't wait, jump on in. Hit the link, sign up to the Bitcoin conference today. And all you got to do, all right, to take advantage of a 10% discount is use the code LIFER. So when you're signing out, use the code LIFER. We'll also have a link in the description in the coming days. But go to the Bitcoin conference link that I gave you there, sign up, and go to LIFER. All right. Hit the get ticket button right there. Pick the ticket you want. A code will come up. You can put the code in LIFER, baby, LIFER. And go to the Bitcoin Las Vegas. That's going to be amazing. Vegas is easy to get to. Flights are very affordable, in my humble opinion. So are hotels, especially right now, right? So, and there you have it. If you chase the pump, like it's going to 70K and 69, I have to get there, right? Never chase a pump. Have a plan. You can get stopped out on a flag on the one. If you took the one and got stopped out, that's great, because but have a serious plan. Use risk management. Don't be aping into things. I can only say it so many times. People are going to do whatever they want. It doesn't matter, right? Shout out to the lifers. Shout out to the traders here. And you don't have to be a crypto trader. You could be a trader of anything here. You can trade anything. If you want to join the group, just go to cryptolifer.com, hit the subscribe button, and join today. It'll show you what to do. You'll get a Discord, make your Discord. It'll link your Discord. It does it all. You'll be ready to rock. Thank you so much for anyone who did that or who will think of doing that. I appreciate that. Okay. A surge for BTC. And normally I do live trade, just so you know. Mondays I usually don't. But usually I force myself to when I see volatility. I just didn't get in at the perfect time. And I didn't want to chase. So I'm just trying to show you, I'm attempting to show discipline, right? There is something about today. It's got that eerie feeling like it's one of those, like, you know, with the war, that it might just defy gravity here and continue to pump. We don't know. Some kind of hidden bullish divergence there. Hidden bullish is when the RSI swings down, but price action stays on an uptrend. Really digging back in with 69K here. And I know some of you are going to trade anyway, so I'm looking at price action as if I was trading it, because I just want to kind of be there with you if you're thinking of getting in. So I may not trade it, but I'm looking like I'm trading it, right? I'm eyeing the 1 minute. I'm looking at the ideas. I'm checking out the risk. All right. Sam, how do you feel about the ABC chart? I've been watching 7 minute because it's very slow, basically penny stock. You know, it's crazy what happened to that chart, right? It looks like a rug pull at one point, right? I love your channel, bro. Big supporter, strong, positive vibes. Thank you so much. Shout out to everybody here on the live. I appreciate you all here on this beautiful Monday, man. Boys and girls, ladies and gents, everybody out there. We got a little bit of news for you here today, too. Let's break it down. Oil price, war premium, hits reality check at 82. Just the beginning or a blow off top? We're going to take a look at the price of oil. I was looking for 74, but oil is a barrel up to $82 with the Strait of Hormuz getting threatened. And the whole idea, just so you know, you probably know, but just to break it down for you, Strait of Hormuz, right near Iran, right? Controlled by Iran, right on the point there. The idea is this: 20% of the oil supply in the whole world goes through there. Okay? And so that also kind of creates, so every time there's war, anytime there's any problems over there, it adds a bit of an issue. Okay? So that's just the one thing I want to talk about. That's all. Bitmine, you know, and then we did have that oil call for you before it happened. So did oil, the charts were telling us something was going to happen to oil. Bitmine lifts ETH treasury to 4.4 million ETH as the total holds near 10 billion. I think it's like 3% of the supply. They don't stop. They don't stop. Crypto fund attracts 1 billion, ending 5-week outflow streak as investors seek entry points amid Bitcoin-led rebound. Hey, man, you could have got in when you should. They never do. They always wait. U.S. margin debt reached all-time highs as crypto lost $2 trillion. The highest level of margin utilization by U.S. traders in history has led to historic underperformance in crypto prices as speculators relearn timeless wisdom. Leverage works both ways. After spending 2025 through 2026 building their largest leverage positions in history, bets on digital assets have unraveled with unnerving speed. U.S. margin debt surged to a record $1.28 trillion, its 9th consecutive monthly increase, and a 50% rise from April. More people are leveraging, more people are getting hit. A supernova or crypto leverage that wiped out $2 trillion. Some crypto derivatives traders spent mid-2025 building their largest leverage positions in history and then watch all of their paper gains evaporate. That's why you buy spot BTC, folks. It looks pretty. The industry makes it look pretty. Makes it look pretty, but strategy bet grows as firm adds 3,000 Bitcoin and pushes holdings beyond 720,000 Bitcoin. That's like 700,000 Bitcoin. It's insane to think how much Bitcoin they hold. It's insane. And the company paid an average price of $67.7 on the dippage. So that buys in the money now. Money. Shout out to all the beautiful people out there. Thank you so much for jumping on in. Follow me at CryptoLifer33 on X.com. I'd greatly appreciate it. So that's just some coming information today. I'm seeing this as like what I expect to happen right now is some type of like something like this in a move down. It could go sideways and rip though. It really could. If it does that, there's going to be a quick divergence. It's going to be a fast, and then we're going to kind of crash. You never know. Anything is possible, but the 1 hour is just so extended at this point. It's got me like, whoa. Like, whoa. You never know, though. I draw the flag because this is me. This is my humble nature. Maybe anything could happen. We don't know. I finally got some fish, everybody. It's fine. We have 6 fish. I don't know the names. My daughters know the names. I mean, they don't really need names, right? It's a fish, but, you know, they're fun to watch. We upgraded their tank yesterday, got them a nice big tank. I think we had like a 7-gallon. We went to 20 gallons. So, and we have 6 fish in 20 gallons. They are happy swimming around there. They look happy. And it's just, I've been staring at the fish now. Don't get fish and waste your time. You'll be staring at the fish instead of doing something important. Hey, what's up with those fish? So now the thing is, I would be waiting for the 1 hour. See, you could front run a short here on the 1 hour. What they did recently though is they did wick it. They wicked it up real fast. But you could wait for this candle to close. You could wait for the 30-minute to close the one, or the 15-minute to close a red candle. 15-minute did already. 15-minute could possibly get you into the short already, right? And the idea is we just have to come back to that 21. Again, you could get caught up in a massive squeeze too, though. I'm not going to do this right now. I'm not. But it does look like it could be a possible. To me, the problem, if you watch my channel and you learn with me, the odds that we're going to dump to the 21 are high. It's a confusing day though, because look, they're like very close to the all-time high of the day there too again. They're making it look kind of, but that's where the right shoulder should come in on the, it should be kind of shoulder, head, right shoulder vibes. So what I do is I keep both of these open. I might keep this flag open on the 1. And the thing about trading is kind of like chess. Can you keep a bunch of things in your mind at once? Can you juggle? And if you can juggle, you're going to be ready to go. If you can't juggle, you're going to struggle. I didn't mean to make that a rhyme, but it's true. Like, you want to be able to juggle 2 ideas at once, 3 ideas. And as you get older, in better trading, you can juggle 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. At the beginning, a beginner looks at someone who's been trading for a while. It's kind of hard to fall, because they're like, I can only handle 2 ideas, man. I can't handle 7 of them. But it really tells you to short the 15-minute time frame right now. Back to the 21-day moving average. I think that's the most likely. I believe that's the high probability play right now. 67.6, nothing too crazy. Maybe you get a low of 67K. But that move was just too crazy and too far from the 21 and the 15 and the 1 hour. Now you're overbought in the Stokes, and again, your stochastics, they went from oversold to overbought. Your RSI went from oversold to overbought. Beautiful move. You pumped, man. 5, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green candles on the 15. I haven't seen that. This was kind of close, but it didn't look as beautiful. Since this pump here, right? It was the 24th. I'm not saying it was like years ago, but I'm just, So right now, what am I doing? I'll be honest, I'm sitting on my hands. Right? I bought a bunch of spot on the low. Like a lot. Like enough to be like, whoa. So, and I'm not trying to brag. I'm just trying to tell you like where my mind's at. So I'm very pleased by the pump for Bitcoin right now. It's making me, and I'm trying to calm myself down from that euphoria, because you never know. I'm like, wow, you're up now on those buys. We'll see though. We could still see 55. We could still see 38. Like this is going to be a 6-month plan, Like this isn't going to happen overnight, a lot of this stuff. And sorry to anyone that lost their lives in that horrible incident that happened in Texas there. I don't want to use keywords, you know what I mean? Just to kind of, but like that's just really, 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 really sad. Actually, moment of silence for everyone in there. Dear Lord, we don't know why these things happen, but help them bring us closer to you and not further away. And help us find peace no matter what, in every situation. Amen. Wow, that's tough, man. It's just sad, man. You going out to a bar or club or something like that. Again, another reason why I don't drink, I'm just not out in these areas. But and I'm not saying you don't deserve that by going out. I don't want to ever make that connection. But you know what I mean? I remember how many bar fights I probably wouldn't have been in if I didn't. Now, I'm not saying, this is completely different. But just in general, alcohol had me out in different hours than I probably wouldn't have been. End of story. I'm not saying no one deserves to die. No one deserves what happened there. Actually, absolutely sad, horrible, actually. So, I'll be honest, man. Bitcoin's looking like it's acting irregular, but it's in a time of regularity, like war and all this. I mean, you got to expect irregularity action for Bitcoin. That's why having this versatile behavior with price action, you know, so now, like, if this gets tight, yeah, I mean, Bookmap usually is right, too, and Bookmap says we're going higher. Bookmap's like, dude, we're going to clear out that liquidity up there. A bunch of people jumped into shorts now thinking they can nail it. Like, they took the 50-minute short that I pointed out, which even looks likely to me and my strategy, but now, you know, my small, see, this is why my back and forth, you could be like, oh, this is what, you know, because I'm using those smaller time frames to back into what could be happening. And I'm like, okay, show me more. Like, if you start to pump and go sideways here, I mean, they're telling me something, right? Should have right shouldered and started to dump by now. What I'm confused by now is my probability of years and years of doing the retest and the back testing. Why is the 1 hour so far from the 21 and still hanging? You know, why are we still, you know, and it shows there's just such heavy buy pressure. And we went over it. Geopolitical unrest. It's easy to move your Bitcoin. To me, this is a no-brainer. Like, whenever I see this stuff and Bitcoin doesn't go up, I don't understand. I'm always like, what? It's made for this. It's made for having to migrate. It's made for having to move. It's made for having to be mobile, right? It's the world's money. It can be brought across any single territory. People forget this about Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? They completely forget this about Bitcoin. No intrinsic value. What do you mean? Like, you have 300 grand in Bitcoin. Do whatever you want with it. You have it on a wallet this big. A hardware wallet could be like this big. It's you know what I mean? You don't even have to have the wallet. You could have like a secret to a seed phrase stash, you know? You can use 3 words of a seed phrase and they could lead to the word, you know what I mean? That's what I've been reading too. You know, a lot of times you don't even need the whole seed phrase. You just need the 3 letters of the beginning of the word. Crazy, right? I'll tell you what, this looks like we may continue to go higher here for BTC. And, you know, it's funny. You're not getting a lot of information on the world stage here of what's happening. It's not even like trending right now anymore on X.com for me, which is weird. Right? Oh, breaking news, too, out here by Nick O'Neill. Shout out to Nick. Thank you, Nick. This is awesome information here. X has removed crypto and gambling from its prohibited industries in their advertising policies page. Well, you must declare with their new paid partnership feature. Right? As I broke the news on days ago, crypto and prediction markets are permitted. So this is a big deal. This has changed. Right? And it says what is and what is not, right? Are not eligible, right? This stuff, right? But they have removed crypto from there. It used to be there. It's not there anymore. It's pretty awesome. Wow, 69.7 for Bitcoin. This is so interesting. Look at that thing. It just went high. It went higher. It's defying gravity, folks. Doing whatever it wants now. Just plowing ahead. Now you just go with Bookmap. I guess aping it is the way now. If you aped in, you made money, right? Just ape the 1 minute candle and forget about life. Guess you could say there, you could kind of bring this down and say that was the market structure there. I should have stayed true to the level. Broke out of another symmetrical triangle. This is the first time symmetrical triangles are breaking up in like years. It's kind of a big story for me because it means like we could actually have so much pressure on the back. See, when Bitcoin flips, it flips for good. It doesn't just flip once. Like, it means everybody in the world has decided they want more Bitcoin. You know? Look, we had Jane Street suppression. We had so much coming at us all the time. That could be the top for the day there. I'm just thinking that 1 hour is too far away. I know I sound like a broken record, folks. Let me actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the 1 minute and I'm going to switch to 2 different charts because I keep going back and forth there. And gold took a hit, man. It was good that I got out of my gold position. I would have lost a lot of money because I was pretty heavy in gold. So I like that I had the instinct to take money off the table. I told my trading group too. And that gold, that trade took a while, folks. That trade took a while. And that's why you got to be patient too. Money doesn't come to the impatient. It comes to the patient. Sometimes I said, sometimes it takes 5 days. Sometimes it takes 4. Sometimes it takes 10. You know what I mean? There's no guarantees of when it's going to happen. We just keep working. every single day, day in and day out. The rewards come to the people that just know the rewards come. Rewards come to the people that know that rewards come to the people that work hard. You put your head down, you work hard. Every once in a while, you look up, you're like, oh, there's the reward. That's great. You know what I mean? And it pushes you, it propels you further for sure. It helps you keep going. It's a good reward, but it is what it is. All right. Well, they double bottomed it right there, and then and then you buy the double bottom in the 1 hour time frame, and that thing was gone. Then they made the sideways price action. But I just wanted to have a bigger perspective here. So, let's take a look at what just happened. You got your high zone, you got your low zone. Let's take a look at the fixed VRVP on this area. Yeah, so you bounced off the value area high, you came through the low, you hit the volume area low, sorry. You hit the middle point, the point of control, and now you hit the volume area high of this section, of this section. It makes sense. The 4 hour to that 200. I have it turned off for now, right? Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, there. The 4 hour to, that they should touch. When you get this close, they should touch. Right? But a rejection there is kind of likely. So anyway, resistance. We got a bunch of resistance right where we're at, right? Because we bounce right here. We bounce right there. And let me just zoom in. This is really important. You got to know supportive resistance. See, 1, 2, you got 3 candle bodies there. That means you came here and you couldn't get by. You closed the candles. It became a rejection point. Okay? It became a rejection point. Now, then you want to draw a trend line, and you're like, okay, well, we broke through the trend, though. That's a big thing. That's big. It's important to me. And honestly, this was you started to make this idea here. You were in this. I'm convinced you were in there. Wow. I like this song. I mean, that's pretty cool. I have to be honest, but I've seen this before, and they faked it out. That's all I'm saying. I like it. I like it so far. We're above the 200 moving average in the 1 hour. So here's the deal, and this is what we did before. The last time we broke out, I said, can we make this is what we were going for. Remember, this is it. And they didn't let it happen. They played games with us. I thought that was going to be the one. The thing is, we'll make so much money when we do call the one, and it's okay to lose a couple of those. So what I'm looking for here is come on, Bitcoin. You gotta give me what I've been backtesting my whole life. And what basically 90% of trades, assets, anything does when it gets hot. You gotta go sideways, make some type of bull flag, something, maybe a downward flag. One of these three has to play out with the 21 touching. Then we can continue the move. Bookmap suggests we're going to continue. But look, there's some bear div now. Pull down on the RSI, pull up there. Another nice pump, but are we chasing? I think so. But what I'll do now is continue this, and so you have to understand, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm showing you what happens when you're when things are kind of overextended, you keep extending the next move in the smaller time frame. This is what I do, right? So if we are bullish, this is going to flag out again. It's going to go the measured move. The 21's going to curl up to price, and this thing's going to continue to pump. This doesn't happen every time. It happens 1 out of 10 times. Normally, the pump is over by now, and you're starting to cool off. This is a more real move. This move has more momentum behind it. So it's acting stronger. It's to be taken a lot more seriously. And when I talk about it, it's because, again, geopolitical unrest. If you had to run out of Iran, man, what would you buy? What would you buy? Think about it. I would be buying Bitcoin. So most of us would. I think that's what everybody would be doing. So. This should be the short link to the Bitcoin conference if you want to jump on in. Let me just double check that this works. We'll put it into the comment section here. But if you want to jump on into the Bitcoin conference and use my 10% discount, jump on in there to the short link. Let's see. Yeah, that works beautifully. And then you pick what you want. You check out. You know what it does, though? It doesn't seem to put in the code automatically. For me, for whatever reason. So you still got to put in that code LIFER. And apply the code. Or it applies the discount already. Yeah. Interesting. So that's, I get it. Let me just double click one more time. But so you'd hit this link to get the discount to the Bitcoin conference. Yeah, and you'll see the code is already sitting there for you. Like this is 2 passes, and it'll say discount, say LIFER promo code successfully applied. You don't even have to put it in. It gets applied as you hit the link, right? So yeah, jump on in. That's the small QR code link there for your if you want to jump on in. I think it's amazing. It's going to be in Las Vegas. I know I'm going to mention it probably 4 or 5 times every live because I just think it's awesome. And it's coming up at the end of April. I'll be there hobbling around. You'll be able to see me with my... I hope by then I'll have a boot off. I don't know exactly what I'll be doing, but I asked the doctor about it. He said, you'll be more mobile by then. You can go to Vegas. Because I asked him, I said, should I plan on going to this? Or is this something that I'm going to be just not really able to do? And even the doctor looked at me and said, you'll be fine, Everyone's like, what are you talking about? I'm in a boot right now. Yeah, I'm in a boot on my left leg. I can't walk properly. I got my Achilles heel ruptured. So look, they're saying we're going up. They're saying we're going up to 70,005. You can see it, right? It's like take no prisoners today. Like if you're shorting, you're getting ripped. Looks like that thing wants to plow further to the upside, right? False move Monday, baby, but this has just been a positive pump the whole time. That lines up with the liquidity, 70,260, 300, and, Can actually put it up here, too, because it's got this, so... Yeah, that says you're going about... this would be awesome. If we ended the day above $70,000, we get a monster monthly candle finally, a monster weekly. We get something that looks like we could actually get a green candle for just one... I'll take 1 month of green. I don't give a dang. They've given us nothing for so long that anything would be great. Like we're groveling for green. Like, just give us anything. We'll take it. We will take it. So here, if we're going to pump, this is likely how we will do it. I'm under the impression that, come on, baby, you got to start dumping soon. Like, you're not making sense. You're just way too extended on the 1 hour time frame. So the smart move is to wait patiently for a green candle next to a red one. That's the smart thing to do. Anything else is pushing it. Yeah. Hard to understand, right? And sometimes doing nothing is the best thing. No trade is a trade, folks. Remember that. No trade is a trade, no matter kind of how you look at it. Okay. Near Protocol getting a big bounce, 34% in the last 7 days. Morpho, which is actually one of my more favorite projects there, up 20%. Virtual, I still hold some. I think this is worth holding. I think it has use case. It creates AI agents. They were the hottest things in sliced bread at one point. 29%. Jupe up, which was interesting. Just some DeFi layering. Midnight, which, if anything gets big, Midnight could get big. Right? It's backed by Charles Hoskinson, the maker of... he helped make Ethereum, one of the builders of Ethereum, moved on to create Cardano, right? Solana back at 89. Nice buy down there at 80, in my humble opinion. Solana was the only thing I really like to buy. I like Hyperliquid. I think it's worth holding, but it moves slow, but it has a use case. It was at 20 and it's at 32 now. It's one of the, I like Chainlink at $8. Yesterday, we talked about it up 10%, 2% in 24 hours, right? I like XRP, but it's boring. I'm just, Pipit's been hot, but it's slowed down now. In the last hour, you have Virtuals, BitTown. You know, I own Tau, BitTensor. I think it's one of the better AI projects. I own a boatload. I own 1,000 Solana. I got rid of my Ondo at like 68, 65. I'm so happy I did. Look at that thing. I can buy as much as I want now, and I'm done, man. I speculated too much on some of these coins. I learned my lesson. I've always liked Sui. I think Sui's a great project. It's going to be one of the faster ones out there. One of the faster dexes, and you know it's going to move. I love Aster right now. I think it has use case. It's basically the dex for Binance, and are they going to lose? And honestly, we looked at Zcash, and it looks like it's a buy right now, down at the 786 Fibonacci retracement. But all that stuff is up to you. Just kind of taking a look at the general market, like we do every single day. And then there's some newer coins I take a look at. Fabric on the radar, Robo. Okay. Big volume for the market cap of the volume matching. That's interesting. All right. So you kind of want to write Robo down. Heroes of Mavia, oldie but goodie. I think I still hold Samavia for whatever reason. Enso's been on the radar, and Superform, which is up. All right. Not huge. I'm not saying they're up huge. This one's up 19% though. Conway Research, Opinion. Just some of the newer coins you may never heard of. Sahara AI still really is holding its own. Let's take a look in the DXY pumping with Bitcoin. So you're getting a pump with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's pumping with the DXY. Very interesting. Look, there it did. It bounced off the lower trend line here. There it did. There it goes. And they're in a perfect place right now to get anyone who wants the late short rect and anyone who wants the late long too. Like this is where you really have to think. Well, you have to have proper risk management, know what you're doing. Someone who goes in and out with proper risk, there's no problem with that. The problem was everybody apes in crazily. You know what I mean? When there's no need to, for whatever reason. So people sold gold and they bought Bitcoin, baby. You knew it was going to happen eventually. Because you know what happened is you're sitting there, you buy a bunch of gold because you're afraid of war. Then you're in your country, you're about to leave, and then you want to dip, and you're like, what do I do with this? You sell the gold at a loss, you buy Bitcoin, you transfer it to a hardware wallet, and you get the heck out of there. I mean, it makes sense to me. I don't know why it doesn't make sense to everybody else. I kept telling everyone there's no intrinsic value to Bitcoin. I'm like, what do you mean? You know, people in the dirty game, right? In the dirty game, people would buy counterfeit money for less money, right? Let me just explain something, right? Like people would pay, what, $300,000 for $500,000 in counterfeit money, right? You have to pay less for it. You sell it for less. That's how it works, right? If you buy more, you get less. So you get like, $500,000 for $1 million, right? So the point, that's the whole, that's the game. The point, what am I saying that for? Well, I'm saying it because it's like people will take a hit on Bitcoin to get out with Bitcoin. Like say you had 500 grand in wealth and someone's like, dude, you're in right now, I'll give you 350 grand in Bitcoin right now in this wallet. I'll take care of all the other stuff. You just give me a way to transfer funds or whatever. Just transfer the bank funds. You know what I mean? And you just have to make a transfer and walk away and you get the wallet in your hand. I'm sure there's some people that would take, a $50,000 hit, 100 just to get in. And what if time is of the essence? Some people are squeezed to do that. My whole point is when something is there and now, there's a premium to it. And because gold and silver aren't that easy to get out your bank, get out your vault, get liquidated, it's going to take a couple days, right? But Bitcoin, you can be gone with it immediately. That's the thing, man. So you can say whatever you want, man, about your hard money. Like we're talking about reality here, and hard money is what works at the present moment in time. What's hard right now? Bitcoin is the hardest money in the world right now. Straight up. And these are great arguments for Bitcoin. Like, if you want to do a Peter Schiff versus Sam Price argument again, or, battle, agree, conversation. I say the rally's going to start slowing down here. This is the key inflection point of the day where a lot of people are going to get hurt. They're going to either chase or they're going to short too late. big spike up, then the 1 hour comes back, right? Or we start dumping now. I just don't see how this, I don't see it just plowing. It's not going to pump all the way to 80K. Like, you know, there's the dump there now, you know, rising wedge. Now you flick back to your bigger time frame. You hit that 15. You want to see, yeah, did that 15. Also, the 15-minute, see? So if you're short of that first one, they got you. But then they made another one. Another tweezer top. They made it very interesting, right? Man, I get shooting pains in my leg, man, throughout the day. Like, I don't know if they're nerve pains. I don't know what they are, but they hurt. They only last a few seconds, but they're like, they're mind-stopping, though. They're like, oh. Take a hit. Like, oh, man. It feels like I took a hit of like, oh, there's one right now. Speak of the day. Speak of it. And it's weird. It's always on the right side of my foot. Like, not really where the incision was. I don't understand, man. But whatever. I'll be okay. I'm not complaining. I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. See, when this is more vertical, you're likely coming down harder. That's what I've learned in my lifetime. And this is just how I trade. You're going to learn with me. Patient, that's just too far for the 21-day moving average, man. That you can't pump that far for the 21 and not have to pay penance. So this is great, though. So now what you do is you're like, okay, well, where's our big supporter, our meaty supporter resistance? Right here. So now you're like, okay, retrace. But just touch the 21 without losing, you know, 68.6, 67.6. That would be great. You know, you're going to retrace, and then you might not even go, you might go completely sideways here on the 1 hour. I'm not telling you what's going to happen for sure. I'm telling you how we're going to trade it later on today. This is setting up for a possible big trade tonight again at 8 p.m. Or they're going to give it all back for a dump, which they could. Lately, every pump like this has been dumped back down. But that was a nice double bottom. Look at it. Again, just traditional technical analysis. Beautiful double bottom to the upside. Okay. Bookmap still screaming we're going higher. Still saying, hey, it wants to eat up the liquidity above us. Only time will tell. Let's get the likes up to the watchers. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for everybody jumping on in. And what we're doing, we're bouncing in between the 1 minute, and there we go. We're starting to lose that key level. I didn't make this trade. I want to make it clear to everybody. If I would, you'd be seeing me moving the muscle, you know, moving everything on the smaller time frame. So that's kind of what happens. You'll get a small pump, and then eventually the smaller time frame should tell you you're done. Right? And then you kind of move on to the other, you know, the 7, and then look, this should maybe make a shoulder ahead, a right shoulder. Right? Beautiful pump. Look at the 5 minute. Again, crossing the 200 moving average. I say this every single day. Crossing that. You could have waited for this one to close right there. Gone. Gone. Yeah, so... And, like, you can't really get any news about this war, man. About whatever, this conflict of interest here. You can't see. Are they still bombing? Is it over? How long is it going to last? It's going to go on for weeks now, we're hearing. Right? And they're going to have people on edge as long as they can. That's what the powers that be do, bro. Right? So live right now, President Trump is addressing Iran. Let's take a look here if I can get that. Let's see what he's saying, if we can get that on. Let me see if I can get this. I mean, it's a Medal of Honor operation right now. Let me think. Yeah, 8:30 Pacific time. This is live right now. Let's see if he said anything. I don't know. I got news that he was saying something. Yeah, no, same idea. Okay, same stuff. So he may say something here. Yeah, and see, your 7's too far from the 21. When you gap from the 21-day moving average, you're going to come back to it every single time. All right. So soon, President Trump will remark on Iran. I will attempt to bring that to you live here, okay? As it comes, I have it up here. My team has it waiting, so I'll have it. I have it up for us. I got 6 monitors. I'll be moving for you. 15-minute again looks to me. I would, it looks to me like it's time to short now. I'm not generally into it. I just wait till long later on today. I'm more of like a buy the bottom kind of guy. But I mean, this marriage between price and the 21 has to happen. And it looks like it's going to. All right. So I'm predicting something of this nature. I can't tell you what's going to happen for sure, but I'm predicting something of this nature here. Okay, for Bitcoin. Something like that. And again, at the same time, I could be, horribly wrong. You never know. It's been very difficult. Look, it looks like it could be bouncing again. Hey, this is the weakness of whatever I do. It's like sometimes the small time frames can take over and just continue to rip. You'll never know for sure. Hold on, what? Yeah, so I don't want to be on MEXC on both of these. Hold on. Yeah, we're on Binance on the bigger time frame, MEXC on the little. And this is where patience comes into play. Like you'll get this like, damn, I'm gonna miss. And it's like, well, if I didn't get it perfectly and already make the trade, like I should have already got in and sold today. At this point, I'm kind of in the middle, right? And so when the timing of the trade really can get you kind of off basis as well. So meaning when you just jump in after a bigger pump, it's like you're kind of like, I wouldn't long this. I just want to make it clear. I think it's more likely to short this price action. I'm not going to short it. I'm going to wait for price action to consolidate, and then I'm going to trade it later tonight at like 5 to somewhere between, usually after 6 to 7 p.m. I begin to trade on Mondays because there's just I've learned my lesson. Let's take a look at the total market cap in all of cryptocurrency. The DXY continuing to pump. Let's take a look at Tether dominance too as well. I want to see what's happening to Tether dominance. Looked a little vicious there when we last looked at it. Look at what it did. So it was in this tight channel, took a nasty dump. We want to see it lose to 200 and really just dump, right? This would be awesome if it just says, you know what? I'm cooked. Like you could say, okay, they were both in symmetrical triangles. It's taken the way out. Again, still not confirmed. It's kind of like this hit the 200, just like Bitcoin's going to hit the 200 the other way. You get it? It's so crazy. So now what you're looking for this is to flag out, right? We don't want to bounce right back inside. You want to flag it out, continue lower. We'll watch this. We'll keep this. This is a very breaking watching story here as we see that Tether dominance is starting to fall further to the downside. Bitcoin dominance didn't look too good either, but it really that wasn't the story right now. It did get a bounce, which just tells you, hey, we bounced off this trend line. So people jump back into Bitcoin. They sold out of Tether. And they chose Bitcoin right now. And the dollar also going up, which is interesting. But, I mean, it's war contracts pushing the dollar. It's then people getting civil unrest and, bigger institutions. And people like Michael Saylor and everyone deciding, hey, this is a good time. Like, where's a good time, if any? The big, heavy. This is where you have the most fear going. You can't get any more. All right? Like, you can't get any more fear than this, really. I mean, maybe you can, but this is good fear. For some guy that likes to buy fear, me personally, and I use the fear to get good prices, I mean, and we're still not where we used to be at a 5. So we were like, you know, it's funny. Andrew Tate said something earlier today. He's like, well, Bitcoin already crashed for no reason, so it can't crash now. As funny as that is, that's Bitcoin in a nutshell, though. It's on its own timeline, man. It doesn't matter what the world is doing. I still could see this go either way. I honestly can't. I think it's very silly to take this trade, though. It's way too high risk. It falls out of my risk parameter. It could happen, though. So still don't see Trump or nothing, just so you know. I don't see anything, right? Yeah. Break this trend line, start to dump nicely. Come on down. Bear div. Yeah, the 21's away from the 200. This is going to dump, man. See that? Like, that's going to dump. So likely. I say that, and then it doesn't. You know, it's hard to tell. But you're kind of building like this silly fallen wedge, but almost like a... Short that 15, baby. Yeah. At this point, I would trust the tweezer top. Entry here, short on the top. Call it a day. Yeah, it took me a second to make the call. Now I'd be fully short. Somewhere to here or here. Somewhere back to the 21. It's not really good enough for me. 1.8 risk-reward ratio. It's, you know, 2.27. I just don't think it's worth shorting right now. But I can tell the direction. To me now, I say 90% we're going down. Yeah, so I made the call that Bitcoin will make a move down. Right when I said that, it dropped $200. It's crazy, but it took me a second. I had to make sure that the 1 minute wasn't going to, you know, finagle us. Right? I don't want to trap people. I want to make sure I'm giving them like real good, precise data here. I got years of data in my brain, so I should be able to give you the hotness. Right there, there's your tweezer top back to the 21. You knew this was coming, like, right? And maybe it goes sideways. We don't know. It could be sideways and pull the 20. If we're real bullish time, man, this will be great. I'm so sick of the nonsense. You know, like make a 30-minute flag, make a 1 hour flag. Show us we could trade it tonight. And give us a good entry and stay above your support or resistance. And let's go, baby. Let's go. Yeah, so I see sideways or short price action until tonight. Somewhere until 5 or 6 p.m. tonight. We need it. You know, price action doesn't do whatever it wants for however long. Like we go sideways here now. You need about 3 hours at least. 4 hours, something like this to really show us what could happen on the 1 hour time frame. We need some time to consolidate here. We had a beautiful pump this morning. Shout out to anyone that took advantage of it. God bless y'all. Shout out to anyone that bought the dip. Right? So... Yes. 69,000. We probably should lose it. Yes. Okay, shout out to anyone here who's new on the channel. Put a 444 if you've never watched the Crypto Lifer show in your life. You're just jumping on in for one of the first times. I just like to see how that algorithm is treating us today. Put a 444. If you hit the notification bell, you will find out when I go live, which is every single day, 4 times on the weekend, 5 times during the week. We do the monthly candle close, the weekly candle close. We get it done every single day. Shout out to the new people here. Vegas Claw, nice to see you. Never seen you before. How do you? You're green and you're new. That's impossible. And shout out to the super chats. If you send a super chat, we will go over anything you want. Let us know. We'll break it down. All right. What do you got to lose to buy back in crypto? Funny. Hope your foot is healing exponentially. I believe it is, man. I'm praying on it. I push the red blood cells in my mind. I keep seeing everything work and go. Man, every time I think it's down and out, it looks like it could come back again. This is crazy. Just the right shoulder, maybe. I can't tell you, man. Something funny's going on today. That's why I'm always like Bitcoin spot, because it's just, some days will throw you for a loop. That they're made to do that. I stick to the short. I'm sticking short. I'm not saying it. But damn, look, I mean, the 1 hour hasn't given us a tweezer top yet. It's still green. Like, you need that has to turn red, man. This is kind of nuts. Wow, look at that move right there. Dang. This song's hot too. I'm just quiet because I'm just watching. I'm not going to claim I got an answer for you. I want that right shoulder, though. That would make the most sense. Boom, look at it, it pops. It would make sense. The one day they got you scared and running is the day they pump this puppy. Yeah. Take the E page, saying who's going to carry the boats? I don't know what that means. I'm kind of forced to leave my money in Bitcoin. Coinbase is holding my funds till Friday. That's crazy. Look, they're about to jack this thing up again. Look at double bottom, I guess. Like, you know what I mean? This thing's gone, man. Look at this thing. It's like Bookmap's never wrong. It says 70,005. We're going to go to 70,005, apparently. This is just really weird on the bigger time frame. This is just really weird. Like, it's like, dang, 3 white soldiers above the 200. Like, boom, 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 man. Wow. You got falling volume with rising price. Everything tells you this rally is getting weaker. I'm not saying it's a fake rally. Like, I would love to see us pump it to tomorrow and it continue this. I just, right now, come on, man. This is crazy. Doesn't make any sense. Just enticing late longs, in my humble opinion, to try to get people to kind of get emotional here. They definitely try to get me, but they ain't going to get me. I ain't going to do it. So I ain't messing with it. It's not going to happen. Them buyers are jumping on in, though. The people are FOMOing in, too, now. I should have bought 60K. I should have bought 62. I should have bought, shoulda, woulda, coulda. You know what I mean? Now it's at 69.5. Like, You know, and I said this to everybody. If you follow me on X and you look at what I was saying, I was telling you guys right here to get one BTC, right? One Bitcoin, man. I said it was just 60K. It'll be 70K before you know it. You'll be kicking yourselves. I said aim to get one whole Bitcoin, man. Don't play around with your future. There's only a few times to take advantage of these positions. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't think I'm saying you should be taking this financial advice, but I firmly believe one Bitcoin should be on everybody's radar, right? Yeah, usually you're going to go to the 4-hour 200 moving average. That's what you're going to get pulled magnetically towards it. Yeah, we're going to hit it. Like, we're going to get sucked right to it. Just kind of what has to happen. It's like a prophecy. I was looking for this move since here. I was like, we're going to pump to the 200. We're going to pump to the 200. And there we go. They did it when it was like, you know, we were a little late on it. Now you cross the 200, you make a flag, and the 21 crosses. You have yourself a chance to get to the 12-hour 200. And then the daily 200 is the next target, like to save the day. You know, you get back above that, then this is over. The bear market's over. The day, like 4 or 5 candles on the daily close above the 200 moving average, we can call this whole thing a bad nightmare, and we can be done with it. But until, you know, we have a long journey ahead of us. We have a long journey ahead of us. All right, I think I got President Trump coming in here. It looks like he's about to walk in right here. Let's hear what he has to say. It's going to affect the markets likely anyway. What we'll do is we'll keep a piece of the market open for you on the side as he talks, like I do when Jerome Powell talks, right? Still looking bullish here on the smaller time frames.
Your steady hand has guided this republic for nearly 250 years. From its birth in the wilderness to this very hour, we come to you now with grateful hearts. We assemble here today to honor men who, when the test came, were steadfast and unmovable. We thank you for the unyielding conviction of Master Sergeant Roderick Edmonds, who looked evil in the eyes and did not flinch. And we thank you for the battlefield grit of Command Sergeant Major Terry Richardson, courage that saved lives in Vietnam and courage that stands before us today. And Lord, we thank you for Staff Sergeant Michael Allis, who, in a final selfless act, made his own body a shield for a friend. Bless the family and friends of these great men of honor, O Lord, and forbid that we leave this place as mere admirers of their heroic deeds. Plant in our hearts a measure of their courage that we might prove worthy of the freedom for which they and generations before them defended.
Starting to possibly make a rising wedge on the 15.
Now let the light of liberty continue to shine on our great nation. We pray in the strong name of the one who guides us.
It's going to be a big pump.
This will defend. Amen.
Thank you very much, Chaplain Green. Wonderful job. Appreciate it. And thank everybody for being here, and please feel free to sit. So before we begin this important ceremony, and there's no ceremony that can be much more important than this, let me provide a brief update on Operation Epic Fury. Today, the United States military continues to carry out large-scale combat operations in Iran to eliminate the grave threats posed to America by this terrible terrorist regime. Following our obliteration of Iran's nuclear program in Operation Midnight Hammer a short while ago, we warned Iran not to make any attempt to rebuild at a different location because they were unable to use the ones that we so powerfully blew up. but they ignored those warnings and refused to cease their pursuit of nuclear weapons. In addition, the regime's conventional ballistic missile program was growing rapidly and dramatically, and this posed a very clear, colossal threat to America and our forces stationed overseas. The regime already had missiles capable of hitting Europe and our bases, both local and overseas, and would soon have had missiles capable of reaching our beautiful America. The purpose of this fast-growing missile program was to shield their nuclear weapon development and make it extraordinarily difficult for anyone to stop them from making these highly forbidden by us nuclear weapons. We were the ones that were complaining. We were the ones that wanted it stopped. But everybody was behind us. They just didn't have the courage to say so. An Iranian regime armed with long-range missiles and nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat to the Middle East, but also to the American people. Our country itself would be under threat, and it was very nearly under threat. I was very proud to have knocked out the Iran nuclear deal by President Barack Hussein Obama. That was a horrible, horrible, dangerous document. They would have had nuclear weapons 3 years ago, and they would have used them. But I'll not let that happen. For almost 47 years, this regime has been attacking the United States and killing Americans. Every time you see someone with missing arms and legs or a face that's been absolutely shattered violently, it was almost certainly caused by an Iran roadside bomb. They were put there by General Soleimani, who was the father of the roadside bomb. Very proudly, he thought, but I terminated him in my first term.
He's exhausted, bro.
This was our last best chance to
This guy needs a
strike
nap, bro.
what we're doing right now and
like he can
eliminate the intolerable threats
Just take a
posed by
20-minute
this
nap, man.
sick and sinister regime. And they are indeed sick and sinister. Our objectives are clear. First, we're destroying Iran's missile capabilities, and you see that happening on an hourly basis, and their capacity to produce brand new ones, and pretty good ones they make. Second, we're annihilating their Navy. We've knocked out already 10 ships. They're at the bottom of the sea. Third, we're ensuring that the world's #1 sponsor of terror can never obtain a nuclear weapon. Never going to have a nuclear weapon. I said that from the beginning. They're never going to have a nuclear weapon. They were on the road to getting one legitimately through a deal that was signed foolishly by our country. And finally, we're ensuring that the Iranian regime cannot continue to arm, fund, and direct terrorist armies outside of their borders. And we thought we had a deal, but then they backed out. And they came back, and we thought we had a deal, and they backed out. I said, you can't deal with these people. You got to do it the right way. Today, we grieve for the 4 heroic American service members who have been killed in action and send our love and support to their families. In their memory, we continue this mission with ferocious, unyielding resolve to crush the threat this terrorist regime poses to the American people, and a threat indeed it is. We have the strongest and most powerful, by far, military in the world, and we will easily prevail. We're already substantially ahead of our time projections, but whatever the time is, it's okay. Whatever it takes, we will always.
2 years, 5 years.
We have, right from the beginning, we projected 4 to 5 weeks, but we have capability to go far longer than that. We'll do it. Whatever somebody said today, they said, oh, well, if the president wants to do it really quickly. After that, he'll get bored. I don't get bored. There's nothing boring about this. Do you agree with that, Pete? I don't think there's anything, Mr. General. I think there's nothing boring about it. Somebody actually said from the media, I think he'll get bored after about a week or two. No, we don't get bored. I never get bored. If I got bored, I wouldn't be standing here right now, I guarantee you that, to go through what I had to go through. We also projected 4 weeks to terminate in
That's
military
funny, man.
leadership,
Come
and as
on,
you know,
man.
that
He's-
was done in
that
about
dude
an
is
hour, so we're
stupid.
ahead of schedule there by a lot. But please join me in thanking every American service member who bravely is standing in harm's way. They really are incredible, and I just want to thank you. We have a lot of them right here. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. We have a lot of great service members here with us, too, in this beautiful building. Isn't it beautiful? We're adding on to the building a little bit. We're improving the building. See that nice drape? When that comes down, right now you see a very, very deep hole. But in about a year and a half from now, you're going to see a very, very beautiful building. And there's your entrance to it right there. In fact, it looks so nice, I think I'll save money on the doors, because it can't get more beautiful than that. I picked those drapes in my first term. I always like gold, but I think we can save a lot of money. I just saved curtains. But, and it'll be spectacular.
I
It'll be
love
the
gold.
most beautiful ballroom. I believe it's because I built many a ballroom. I believe it's going to be the most beautiful ballroom anywhere in the world. And when you hear all that hammering out there, you know why the First Lady is not thrilled exactly. She said, will the pile drivers ever stop? You know, they go from 6 in the morning till 11:30 in the evening. Can you imagine? Here? You know what? To me, that's a beautiful sound. She doesn't like it. I love it. You know what? To me, other than here, because we're donating it, not a penny to the taxpayer. It'll be under budget, ahead of schedule. It'll be 400 million or less. Most people say 400 million or more. No, it'll be less. But when I hear that sound, that beautiful sound behind me, it means money, so I like it. But my wife isn't thrilled. She said, this is getting crazy. I said, don't worry about it. We'll be all finished up in a few months. But now for the reason that we're gathered this morning to recognize the unsurpassed courage of 3 really incredible American heroes, 1 living and 2 no longer with us. So together, we recognize the exceptional valor of Master Sergeant Roderick Edmonds. And maybe I could ask your families to stand, because they're beautiful families. I got to meet them, and please. So Staff Sergeant Michael Ollis and Command Sergeant Major Terry Richardson, as they receive our nation's highest military award, the Congressional Medal of Honor. And we're pleased to be joined by Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. He's busy, very busy guy. In fact, I said, if you want, Pete, you can avoid it. General Raisin Cane also, and they said, we don't avoid this one. This is one you wouldn't avoid for anything, right? So we appreciate that you're here. Secretary of Veterans Affairs, who's doing an incredible job, Veterans Affairs, Doug Collins. Doug, thank you. You stand up, Doug. You're doing such a good job. 92% approval rating. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Kane, who's known as Raisin Kane. I liked him when I heard that name, Raisin Kane. I said, if it's true, you're my guy. And it's true. It just turned out it's very true. He's a great guy and a great general. Secretary of the Army, Dan Driscoll, and Army Chief of Staff, Randy George. Thank you. Thank you both, Dan. As well as Senators Tom Cotton, Bill Hagerty. You guys were great on television this weekend. I'll tell you what, can't have a better representative than both of you. Thank you very much. And Representatives Tim Burchett, Jack Bergman, and Nicole.
You know, we're just going to get back to the music there. It's like, you know, I just wanted to hear, we knew he was going to talk about the war there at the beginning, and then he was going to get to giving awards, and again, God bless them, but I just don't want to bore you guys with something that you're not into at the present moment in time. You know, I don't know what's going to happen for sure, but I'll tell you what, man, 90% of the time when you're away from this 21-day moving average on the 1 hour time frame, just like we had to trust the other day, we're going to come back to it. I can't tell you exactly how and when we're going to come back to it, and I can't tell you that it's going to happen for sure because nothing is guaranteed. But, you know, this is kind of a bear div. This is pointing up. That's pointing down. You know, yes, you maybe you continue. So what I would do is I'd wrap this up here. You never know. But for the most part, I'd start to kind of really hone in on the fact that we're going to break down here on the 1 hour time frame. Look for that 30-minute tweezer top. There's finally the red candle there with the massive wickage. And again, you could come up, come back down. We want to see the red candle. I like to wait for it on the 1 hour time frame. And the crazy thing is, it looks like we may not get it. This thing could, you never know, folks. It's one of these weird times. Like normally I'd be like blah, blah, blah. But today there's something kind of weird in the water here. There must be something in the water. I'm telling you. Because every day is getting harder. Sorry, I had to. But anyway, if I had to call it to leave you with my last ideas here, I tell you that the next candle should turn red. And we should eventually start to either come to the downside, right, and come back to this 21-day moving average. This is what I see happening, but it may not, right? You never know. We could continue just to rip. There's a chance that the 5-minute or the 1 minute decides to go on a rally. I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen right now. We're at an iffy stage in the market. So we get back, I'd be surprised. Yeah. Will this trend last till Friday? We will know we'll know by how the 1 hour reacts today. This afternoon, we'll know a lot about how the weekend will play out. Yeah. Watch your 15-minute time frame here. See if you can go sideways or comes back to the downside, then couple it with the 1 hour. I'd look for the 1 hour to come back to the 21-day moving average. That's my last update, everybody. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. You can find out when I post my next video. Nice that we got a little bit of the Trump action in there just to see how it moved the markets. Didn't seem to do much. We were okay. So seems like we've kind of survived the war fear right now, and Bitcoin's back above 69,000. I am expecting a pullback somewhere to the region of 68.1 really is the area I'm looking for a pullback, but only time will tell. I'll keep you updated in the group. God bless everybody. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Remember, I studied all these multi-billionaires, millionaires, sports people, everyone that did, authors, anyone that did something amazing with their life. And I found out the secret to success. You know what it is? It's getting started. Come back to the